stepping it up, taking a chance, risking it all, we're going crazy. Stepping it up, taking a chance, risking it all, taking it higher, baby. Stepping it up, taking a chance, risking it all, we're going crazy. Stepping it up, taking a chance, risking it all, taking it higher, baby.
Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining us. Cambell here from Autodidactic with Lorenzo from the New Now. And sorry, there was a bit of a stuff up with the time. For some reason, it got put up at 5 a.m. I don't know why. My internet went crazy last night. But here we are. We are live. And we are going to talk about the Archons and why we shouldn't let them in. You know, I've heard, we see a lot of comments in the chat that people can't change because of the world's so bad, the system's so bad, but this person's doing this, but the Archons, but all this. But the truth is that that's all a choice, that, we get the choice to go into that world or to ignore that world. Whatever we take on, we take on. If we believe the Archons are out there and they're destroying our lives and they're ruling us, well, guess what? They do. So this is all really a choice. And a lot of people seem to have this as a bit of a, speed hump in their progression forward is, I want to do this, but, and we've talked about the big butts a lot, and, there's that song, he loves big butts, but, we don't necessarily like big butts, a butt is just a butt, right? So, what are your thoughts on this, Lorenzo? Letting the Archons in or letting them out? As I said last night, they can kiss my butt.
Well, really, it depends what we mean by letting things in. I mean, these are definitions that need to be looked at, I would say, and what an Archon is, because all kinds of people have different ideas of what an Archon is and what an Archon isn't, what this reality is and what this reality isn't, and what you can do and what you can't. And, my guess is we can do anything we choose to do, and the Archons are everywhere and all pervasive, unless you get yourself to a place where you understand what part of reality is you and what part of reality is not you, and what part of reality is you deciding you're powerful and what part of reality is you deciding you're blaming something for whatever circumstance you happen to be existing in. So I would say when you allow circumstances to get in your way, you're putting that ass in your face, which nobody likes. Well, mostly nobody likes a big ass in their face. And let's say the Archons are the ass in your face, so you have to see for yourself when something stinks. We'll take the metaphor a little further, and how you can move the stink away by not letting those Archons in, and then deciding what is stinky and what is not, and what is your responsibility and what is your responsibility. Because I say it's all our responsibility.
Yeah. I've got a video on my Spiral Up channel. Go and subscribe if you haven't already. It's awesome. And it basically, the first question is this world a good place or a bad place? And that's kind of, I think, where we need to start. If you're living this life and experiencing it with, the belief that it's all against you, that it's all some kind of scam, that it's a prison planet, that we're held hostage here, well, that's what you're going to create. Because, it's pretty much proven. You can go and check out, there's been so many studies on this. We do create our reality. And I kind of have a problem with this shadow work. There's a lot of stuff out there at the moment, shadow work. But to me, that's just focusing on the bad points. Why would you do that? If you know you're a creator, why would you spend your time focusing on the stuff that you don't want? It doesn't make sense to me. You need to know where you went wrong, sure. But then you don't need to spend time thinking about it and visualizing it and going over all this past stuff, It's like if we are trying to go forward into something different, but we're using our memory and our past experience to do that, all we're doing is creating a circle. And we're just going to go around and we're going to be ruled by this, these thoughts that, well, I can't do anything because the whole world's against me. It's a bad world. I'm locked up here. I'm a prison planet. Yet we can walk down the street and we can, interact with life, and we can see all these people that are having a good time. They're having a good life. And most of them don't even know what an Archon is. And what is an Archon, right? That's another thing. We have all these terms, all these Archons, and if you look into that, no one will give you a definite answer of what are these Archons. I mean, we can't even prove that they exist. Like, really?
I can give you a definite answer, perhaps. I'd say they're simply mind parasites. The idea of the like, if you want to look at good and evil in the world, like, obviously I don't know 100%. I'm just pulling Campbell's tail a little bit here about a definition for an archon, but it's more like, if you look at the good and the evil in the world, I would say it's the evil tendencies that seem to seep into everything, whether it's through government or even your own ideas, or the negative. Campbell mentioned shadows, but I would say that's just your own negative ideas about yourself. And perhaps the archons are just that flow of evil, of bad, of you can't do whatever you want to see as this negative. Whether it's painful for physical or mental or spiritual or loving, and it's moving in a direction. We all know what evil is. Let's say we all know what's not happy. We all know the opposite of successful creativity and imaginative wonder and beauty. So I would say the archons are all the negative of that, right? All of the opposite that seems to be, in this day and age anyways, for the most part, in charge, I would say, of the outside world. It just seems to me that's the case. If you look at the governments anyways, and you look at the pollution, and you look at the sinister nature of all of the systems, and the sinister nature of the monetary systems, and the even the capitalist system, to capitalize is a bit of a rude thing to do, and the consumptive system, to consumers, all of that seems to be, in the concrete everywhere, right? The concrete, it's even in the word concrete, cement, how did they put it, of a cemetery, cement cemetery. So it's all very interesting way of looking, of what's really going on in the world, and what, the square buildings. Those are obviously, Campbell's in a round one. Those are obviously not healthy, energetically speaking. Poisons they put in the paint, in your food, in the air, in the water. I mean, all of that. Someone asked me, what is the definition of archon? Everybody and everything that makes that real, where somebody follows through with that, whether it's a politician deciding it's a good idea, or someone who's not a politician following that idea, I would say that's the archontic influence that we're all living through, with, and under, as we allow it.
Yeah, well, archons means rulers, but are they ruling you? That's just a choice. And the other thing is, I spent a lot of time going through history and showing that it's false. It's just the archons giving us a story. So why aren't we applying this thinking to the word archon? Have you ever thought that maybe they're putting out this information to tell you because that's what they want you to do? They want you to believe it's a prison planet, right? Because then you're a slave that they can control. But if you don't believe that, is it real? Is it true? If you went out to a tribal person in the middle of the desert and said, "Hey man, what about these archons?" They probably wouldn't know what you were talking about. They would have no effect on their life at all, because they haven't brought it into their consciousness. Because we're creators, right? We create through our thoughts. So if we believe this stuff is true, then guess what? It's true. Right? If we believe that they have an effect on us, they have an effect on us. If we believe they can kiss our asses, they can kiss our asses, right? They have no effect at all. So this ultimately comes back to us. And I kind of see this, but the system, but the archons, but this, but it's kind of an excuse, right? It's an excuse that, well, I don't have to move forward because I can't. There's an outside force that's controlling me. Well, the truth is, the only real force is the one that's inside you. When we get down to it, we can't even prove that any of this is real. It's just an experience, right? So yeah, I mean, this is, I just see it so often that, people are focusing on things that they can't change. They're putting their effort and their energy into something that's going to affect them negatively. But you have the choice. You can go, well, that doesn't affect me. They can do their job. That's great. But I'm going to get on with my life and create something different. And ultimately, isn't that what we're all here to do?
I mean, the interesting thing that Campbell brought up is, if they've manipulated history, which I see they have, and they've manipulated what's possible as far as scientific, bullshit and scientific truth goes, which anyone who has a bit of a brain can tell there's better ways to do just about everything that gets done in this world. Imagine the lies that have been told about you and your life and your history and your potential and what your imagination is, and what your guts do, and what your heart's for. Like they say, a heart is for pumping blood, which is, that's crazy. Right? Your heart has 32, 42, a whole, worldly, powerful, more potential than your mind. Actually puts up 50 times the energy, is what I'm trying to get at,
Yes.
than your head. You have your guts. Everyone says, I have a gut feeling for this, or I have an intuition, or, listen to your guts. Women have wombs, which they think from, a secondary brain, which Cambell and I have never really talked about because we're not women with wombs, but it's still there, right? Women can feel things, that men can't, because they do have that extra opening, let's say, it being rude, where the world goes in and the world goes out. But that's a wonderful thing, right? So that's why I would say, even in this day and age, they're trying to confuse the genders, the sexes, somehow it's about, what's between your legs, which it really isn't, right? That's just the physical aspect of recreation, right? Of making babies, let's say. But the whole energetic milieu, let's say, of what's possible as a man that can direct energy towards a dream, and a woman that can help give birth to that dreams, is something that's something I want to get on. Cambell and I chatted a little bit before we came here about a new direction and a new series I want to do. But really getting into the heart and the guts and the creative aspect of what even it means to be alive and the potential for life. Now, there is something that hasn't been, there's something that the Archons cover up. They go, oh, no, fires in Maui, which, sure, right? Or, oh, no, there's inflation, sure. Or, oh, no, there's another, viral thing trying to sneak up your ass, and, better watch out, the toilets are dangerous, sure. But that is really, in my opinion, a huge misdirection on the potential for what we can do and what's possible for us.
Yeah, I mean, if you believe all this stuff, that it's a terrible world and it's a prison planet, then they've won. It is a terrible world and a prison planet. That's sort of, I'm going to probably keep getting back to this, is, we have choice. We have choice. And of course, if someone is out there trying to rule you, they're going to tell you that you have no choice. And then if you believe them, guess what? You have no choice, and they do rule you. But we can always make a different decision and move in a different, a different direction. But as long as we believe the world is terrible and it's awful and it's all against us and we're prisoners, we can't move, right? And the other thing is, it gives us a bag of excuses to do nothing, right? And that's the biggest problem. Is, well, I can't do that because the Archons. I can't do that because the monetary system. I mean, what about Joe Biden? What about this? What about the children, which we hear constantly? And look, the children thing is, of course, it's horrible, right? But again, unless you're being directly affected by that, then it's not really part of your reality. If you have, if you feel like that, you want to get in there and change something, well, get in there and work and do something to make that different. Don't sit on the sidelines and complain. Oh, this is affecting my life. It's affecting my life, because it's not. It's only affecting your life because you're putting focus on it and you believe it's affecting your life. I'm sorry. To me, that's just the truth. So this is the thing. Get rid of your excuses. Get rid of the buts, right?
It's funny how the world works too, energetically, powerfully, and wonderful. It's like when Cambell and I did a chat and we talked about children being, this is just a little story I'm going to share, having their challenges, and children do have their challenges, right? I'm not saying they don't, and there's all kinds of awful things going on, but, I had a friend who actually had an experience like that when she was young, and she was a friend of mine for a few years, and I did a video on it, and out of the blue, she noticed the video, which is funny because she doesn't watch any of my videos, and out of the blue, she commented on the video, which was very interesting as well. So, it came full circle where she said the one thing that she got out of our friendship, and I haven't seen her in about 20 years, was the desire to learn to laugh. And this was a lady that could have fallen into the pit of, oh my goodness. And it was a very close relative of her. And she had one of the most horrific experiences that I don't need to get into. But she took that as someone who had that experience, not someone who heard about it or someone who thought about it. And she decided that the best thing she could do was learn to laugh and move through. And she's had 5 children to this point right now. So she wanted to pass the love along in a way that transformed, let's say, what happened to her. She didn't pass and she had very loving kids. Like I met some of them anyways, throughout the years. And they weren't, oh my goodness, mom had a bad thing, so I'm angry about the world. And, this happened to mom, so the world sucks. And everybody's a predatory a-hole. No, it was like, I want to be the most loving, caring, beautiful being that I can be, so that I can transform the nonsense that happened to me and move something more wonderful forward, which is why I feel we all have whatever horrible experience you have, and everyone's had horrible experiences.
Everyone has.
Everyone's been interfered with. Everyone's had problems with the monetary system. Everyone's had problems with their parents and relationships and children if they have them, and siblings if they have them, etc., etc. Everyone, from food, diet, spiritual, emotional, everyone's had crap happen to them. So why, Campbell shared his story many times about, the brothers, one in jail and one a lawyer from a bad father. We'll paraphrase very quickly. So really, it's up to you what you do with the horror that's come into you. Do you make more of it, or do you transform it and make less of it? The choice is up to each of us.
Yeah, and that's a very good point. Is if we, believe, the bad and all this, and we're, these poor little prisoners and slaves, and we're going to create that. We're going to help these archons. We're going to pass it to our children if we have children. We're going to, we're going to have conversations, and it's like, oh, these archons, didn't you know this? Oh, but they're doing this. Didn't you know that? And someone's like, oh yes, I just want to go and, live in the country and, be off grid and grow vegetables or whatever. And someone will be, well, but didn't you know they're coming for your land? Didn't you know? And what's the point of that? Are you trying to talk this person out of creating a better world? Because in the end, that's your choice. You create their world or you create your world. You could focus on the crap and pass that forward and make it bigger, or you can go, not into that, so I'm going to create something better. And that's where my energy is going to go, because it's all energy. Whatever you think and you put your attention to, you are feeding. Someone just said, oh, sorry, I was just going to read. Michael De Silva said, observe, don't absorb. And I agree. We need to know what's going on, but we don't need to live it.
Yeah, it comes down to, there's no one right way for anybody, right? Somebody may need to go into the mountains and live on some land of 5 acres and never talk to anyone. Someone may need to be in a high rise in the city and transform and share love from there. The reason there's so many of us, and the reason everyone is unique, and the reason everyone's different, is because everyone's having a different life. So everyone really needs to figure out for themselves what's right and wrong according to what they feel is right and wrong, not according to what anybody told them, not what I'm saying or Campbell's saying or your mother's saying or the government is saying or anything. It's really up to each of us to decide how we can pick up our unique desires for power. And by power, I mean personal power. Campbell and I are going to talk about this. We have an event coming up. I'll plug it a little bit, October 6th, 7th, and 8th. Intuition, imagination, discipline, and power. And, there may be a detox through time secondary event coming. Campbell and I talked about just even before we got on air right now. So it's all about detox. So I'm happy I brought that up. He said, congratulating himself. So proud of myself. If you detox your emotional body, you detox your physical body, you detox your historical body, you detox your spiritual body, you detox your shadow body, you detox your phantom body. And, by getting rid of all the detox or the poisons, which is what you're detoxing from, you will give yourself the clear peace. Someone said peace, love, people of the realm. You give yourself the clear, peaceful potential of making choices from a loving spot.
Yeah, I mean, and, if you believe the archons are real, and, I just see them as, bad people. Of course there's bad people, right? Of course, this is a world of duality. But if there's bad, well, guess what? There's also good. So why would you focus on the bad? Why would you go around creating their world for? I mean, you're just making their job easier, right? I would say this is an overlay. I believe this place is created for us. I believe everything is for us. And how would we know what the good is if we didn't see the bad? How could we make something better if it's not, something that we don't want? So maybe these are all lessons, right? Maybe this is just all, the universe prodding us going, look at this, people are trying to do this, and we get the choice. Well, I want that or I don't want that. But a lot of people, are all love and light, right? All, these love and light people. Oh, everything's great. But the background thought is, I'm this way because there's so much bad in the world, so I have to be love and light. That's still focusing on the bad. Like if we just focus on what we want and actually being or maybe giving the love, right? Rather than, giving out what's inside us, because that's what we're always doing. We're always giving out what's inside us. So if you're always giving out negative information of how bad the world is, maybe have a think of what's inside you. Does that, does that mean that you are good and love and light if you're helping the bad?
Yeah, but also then, what is love? What is light? There's so many ways to look into this, right? Deciding what love is, that's what I mean. It's like, we throw these words around. So for me, love means something. For Cambell, love, I mean, probably everyone has a bit of a different definition of everything. What is light? What is dark? There's nothing wrong with dark. There's nothing wrong. Like, darkness is great. I love the dark. I see in the dark. I dream in the dark. It's peaceful in the dark. One of my favorite times to go walk around under the moon and the light, whatever that happens to be or not. So there's nothing wrong with love. There's nothing wrong with lightness. There's nothing wrong with darkness. There's nothing wrong with shadows. There's nothing wrong with any of it. I would say what really it comes down to with all of this is just being honest. Honest with yourself. I mean, even someone said smile and the world smiles back. Maybe, but what if the world doesn't smile back? Maybe you keep smiling anyways because you want to feel that you're bringing that smile out, right? Maybe you don't need anyone to say you're doing a good job, or someone, has to say, good, you're smiling, so we need to smile back. I mean, it happens. I would agree. But what I mean in all of this really is your dream, your physical creative power and more really comes through what you decide is possible for your life, regardless of what anybody, the Archons, tell you. And if you have a challenge, maybe you want to kiss the Archons on the lips instead of having them kiss you on the ass. They're giving you a challenge to help you become strong.
Yeah. And hello to everyone in chat. Thank you for being here. 156 of you. We appreciate you all. And Pan from the Big Island in Hawaii, I hope everything's going well for you. We've obviously all heard about what's going on in Hawaii, and that is definitely bad, right? It's not good. That's something created by these what we call archons. But the question is, are you going to sit there focusing on how bad it is and how all this stuff is thrust into your world and you can't change it, so this is proof that the world sucks? Or are you going to look at that and go, well, okay, it's showing me that there's bad stuff out there that I don't want, I don't agree with, so I'm going to change it. Okay, you can't change something bad by focusing on how bad it is. All you're doing is projecting and giving it energy to have more power over you. So all of these things, and it's everywhere at the moment, right? There's so many stories about how corrupt the government is and how bad this stuff is. And, obviously all the fires and all this kind of stuff. And, I'm not dismissing that people are going through a lot of bad stuff. But we always, if you're not involved, you don't have to take that on, right? If you're in it, obviously it's your life, but you still have a choice, right? You still can, there's a difference between blame and getting the information, right? Getting a perspective on it and then thinking, okay, what am I going to do about this? So all this stuff, it's all been projected to make us think the world is really bad. Like, this is their agenda, right? To get into the mind and to make you think you're a slave. You live on a prison planet. You can't do anything. They control the money. They do all this. You have no choice. Blah, 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 blah. So that's the scam. They're putting thoughts in your head, and if you go along with it, you create the world that they want.
Yeah, I mean, let's say they do. Let's say, I'll be the devil's advocate here. They do control all the money. It is a horrible world. They are controlling the media, which they are. All the politicians are in their back pocket, which they are. They're shooting, direct energy weapons. Not at Hawaii either. I lived in BC for a long time, and I got a note from someone there in a small village that it's happening there too. It's just not on the news as much. Where the government is supposedly circling people in. They're dying in the mountains of BC. Lots of energy and fires everywhere. So let's say all of this is true. Okay, let's say all of this is, and of course it's not nice that someone's setting your home on fire, your car, your mother on fire. It's horrible. On the other hand, it could be forcing you. Cambell's done 1 million videos on Tartaria and the beautiful architecture and how people lived and the energetic, healing parts of sound and flowers and nature. We've shared lots of videos on that, and spiritual, vibrational increasing in your, I don't even have the word for it, but just becoming a better person. So maybe all of these challenges are simply focusing, encouraging everyone to make a different reality, right? To move it differently. So if they are controlling the money system, find a way to use it or go somewhere else, right? They are burning, let's say they're burning your house down in Hawaii. Okay, let's say it happened. Maybe it's to encourage you. Maybe you've been sitting on your couch in Hawaii too long. Like, I don't want any hate mail. I'm not saying, so maybe it happened in BC. So maybe it's, okay, so your house burnt down and it's an ancestral home, let's say, and you've had it there for a few hundred years. Yes, it's horrible. But if you're a victim, even if you sit there and go, I'm a victim, the government's doing bad things to me, you're still a victim. But if you're taking that to do something unique for your life, or to wake up in a different way, or to do something you haven't done before, because literally maybe you have no choice, now that your front door is on fire, you have to go out the back window. You can look at that as a positive thing, and that you're being forced in a way to grow strong and to maybe uncover some of your hidden resources that you haven't had a chance to use to date yet in your life. At least that's been my experience with bad things.
Yeah, I mean, this information about, secret societies, Agenda 21, Agenda 30, all this kind of stuff, all these people, all these groups, it's been out there for, 50 years people started talking about this, right? And it's been out there, but what's happened? What's changed? Nothing at all. So maybe this is the universe going, hey, wake up and look, because if you don't, things are going to get really bad. It's a wake-up call, right? Which means it's helping us. We can't fix a problem if we don't know it's there. And if we're ignoring problems, it's like this, if the universe wants to teach you a lesson, it will give you something small, right, to look at. If you ignore that, the next lesson will be a bit bigger. If you ignore that, you're going to get hit by a truck, and you will have to pay attention. Is that what this is? Because, and of course, we're not, don't send us hate mail. We're not, we're not dismissing all the stuff that's going on and that people are really going through this. But as a world, as a group of beings, we've created this because we ignored what was going on. We've ignored it. We've let the Archons take over, right? We have. And so now the universe is tapping us on the shoulder going, wake up, look at this. Look, there's fires in, what was it called? Paradise. Look at this. You can see all the cars. Look at this. Nothing happened. Oh, look, now there's wildfires in Australia, in Canada. Nothing happened. Here comes the Mack truck. Bang. Now you won't ignore this. Have a look at this. Wake up and change something. Do something different. So in the end, it's my strong belief, and it's been my experience that this is all for us. Okay, good or bad. How could we know what was good if we didn't know what was bad? If everything was wonderful and we always got whatever we wanted, we'd be sitting on the couch, right? Fat and stupid, really. And it's like that saying, right? Good times produce bad people. Bad times produce strong, good people, right? It's true. So, I see this as a wake-up call. It's an opportunity for us to change it, to do something different, and so we can experience something different.
Yeah, like JJ Recon, I believe it is, said something that you have to admit where you're ignorant before you could get smart. And that's one of the most intelligent comments I've seen so far, in this chat. In that, if you don't know where you're missing, if you don't know what's not there, if you don't know how you're stupid, and I'll talk about myself. When I kept saying, well, I have all the answers, I know what's going on, I've been a great this and I've been fantastic that, I had to realize how I was horrible in so many ways before I could change. Yeah, stoicism, Aldana, that's really a good study for people that want to. People aren't very reasonable. Everyone will say they're reasonable, but people really aren't reasonable. If you don't like something, change it. That's reasonable, right? If food and what have you is poisonous, don't eat it. That's reasonable. If you have a politician that's giving you bad advice, don't listen to them. That's reasonable. Not I have to. That's not reasonable. That's being afraid or being in fear. So, really what it comes down to, as the talk of this is, don't let the Archons in, you have to see how they're getting in the first place, right? It's like if you have holes and the mice are coming in, you go, oh, no, that's not a hole over there. That's a window to my, that's an aerating window to my garden patio. That's not a hole for the mice. Then the mice are going to keep coming in. Right? The rats are going to keep coming in that hole, right? You go, but look, there's a big hole there. Oh, no, that's not a hole, right? That my feng shui teacher told me that's how I let the mysteries of the universe into my house to wash my feet, so I don't have to wear shoes, and I'm comfortable sitting on my couch. You go, well, the rats are still coming in there, the vermin are still sneaking in, so you get to see how the vermin are sneaking into your body by seeing what where you're susceptible, whether it's your mind, whether it's your guts, whether it's your womb, whether it's your relationships, whether it's your ideas, your belief system, whether it's your shadows, maybe you need to look at your shadows because the archons are shadowing you. Maybe you need to look at your phantoms because the archons are haunting you. Maybe you need to look at your diet because the archons are sneaking bad, crap into your food. However they're sneaking in, it's up to you to see how they're sneaking in, let's say, because we don't want to let them in, so that you can prevent that moving forward. But you must admit to how you've been conned, to how you've been tricked, to how those archons are sneaking up your behind, before you can move forward.
Yeah, I mean, imagine you have a party, right? You invite all your friends and you're having a good time, and there's a knock at the door and someone comes in and they're just a complete a-hole. And they're running around and they're bad talking you, and suddenly, the vibe of the party is down, and you're sitting there going, look at this person, look what they're doing. Oh, look, now he's talking to that person. Oh, now blah, 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 blah. You can do that. And when you do that, you allow them to keep going and destroying your party. Or you can walk up, grab them by the back of the neck and kick them out the door. Then they're gone. Then the party does not have to deal with them. That energy is not there and things get better. Okay, so clearly we need to know what's going on. We need to be informed, but we don't need to spend our time focusing on this, which is why I mentioned, the shadow work. Sure, we've all been through crap. And look, everyone goes through it. And yes, it's in different degrees, but maybe that's because people need different degrees. People react differently. Some people need stronger messages, right? It's all for us. It's all a lesson so that we can get better if we see it that way. Or it's a prison planet and we're stuffed if we see it that way, because like I said before, if it's a prison planet and you're a slave, you're not going to do anything. You're going to sit down, you're going to throw your hands up and go, oh my God, it's so bad. And guess what? The archons get to run amok. All right. So to get rid of this, we need to know they're there.
And I don't know the archons, true Freemasons, Batsatwara, sorry if I said your name wrong. I don't think there's any one specific group or people or religion you can point to. I would say, in my opinion, the archons are this entire dream, right? This entire cave, as some people have chatted about before, like leaving this cave, leaving this dream, leaving this reality. I mean, how did we go from the potential of the past? And again, we'll talk about some of the Tartarian videos and buildings and beautiful creations that they can't do today, to now. Maybe the resets, as Cambell said, is just everyone getting what they're asking for, right? Everyone getting a chance to transform. Cambell and I did a chat with Archaics about, 2020 being a beautiful thing because it gave everyone an opportunity to reset their lives, right? Supposedly, more BS is coming around the corner again, and it'll be harder. So it'll give you a chance once again to reset your life. So not to let them, like someone wants to tell you, the great reset is here. So, oh my goodness, they're being bad. They're trying to be something life. You go, good. And then you see how you need to set yourself again. See how you need to get better. Don't let them tell you, there's a reset, so you have to have this shitty job, or there's a reset, so you have to move, or there's a reset, so, you have to get 72 shots up your behind. You can go, I don't think so. There's a reset, and that means I have to do a new job maybe. I have to find a new way to be healthy. I have to find a new way to grow food. I have to find a new community to live with. I have to just stop talking to people, turn my TV off, and go sit on a mountain under a tree for the next 20 years because that's what I want to do. Really, it's up to you to decide on your reset. And in my opinion, everyone's resetting themselves every day, right? I'm not the same as I was even a week ago. I had some epiphanies last night. In the middle of my night, I woke up going, oh my goodness, and I wrote down 3 new ideas for Cambell and I to have chats with that I don't know where they came from, but they weren't there before. But what did happen is I realized I was wrong. It's all my fault. I made tons of mistakes. Even I did an interview with Cambell about myself the other day, and I really didn't think I went deep enough into how silly and strange and bizarre I've been in my life so that I can change and transform that into something magnificent. That song, I once was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. I think if you want to see the Great Spirit or Jesus, if you believe in it, or God or whatever, I think God doesn't love someone that's born a hero and stays a hero and is great their whole life because there's nothing there. It's like if you fall down into the shits and the pits and you bring yourself out, now that's, a true hero story.
Yeah. Just a comment from Tim. It has not got bad yet. Well, what does that mean? Are you waiting for it to get bad? Are you creating more bad? Because that's the scam, right? Seriously. That's the scam. And I've said before, who would want to go back to 2019? And everyone's like, oh, no, that was crazy. Well, look at 2019 and before. What were we all doing, or the majority of people? Nothing. Going to work, paying their bills, being unhappy, and doing it all again, right? And so the universe is looking at us going, these people, what are they doing? I think they need a wake-up call. Bang, 2020 comes along. Okay, it wakes up a lot of people. A lot of people are instantly like, oh, hang on, no, I'm not wearing the mask. I'm not doing this. I'm not. But not everyone did, right? So what happens now? Round two, bang, are you going to take it now, or are you going to stand up now? So we can see this, in any way we want. We can see it as all for us or all against us. And whatever we believe is true for us, true for our experience. And the other thing is people want confirmation, right, from the outside all the time. Oh, can't you see how bad it is? Look at this. Oh, and they love to sit down and talk. Oh, yeah, it's so bad. It's so bad. Oh, look, we're just slaves. Oh, my God, these people controlling us. God, this is building the world that the controllers want you to build. Because think of it this way, right? These whatever nefarious ones, the Archons, they just want to get in and have some kind of a life. And at the moment, they don't. So what are they doing? They're implanting all these things so that we create them. We create a world that they can exist and inhabit, right? Exist in and inhabit in. So, this we are creators, guys. Whatever we focus on, believe, put our energy into is what we will experience. So, make a different choice. It's really that simple. And I know there's all this past stuff and everything, but to me, why would you go back to bad things? It's like this. We can create the future from our dreams, from what we want, right? We can ask for better dreams, better visions, all this kind of stuff. Or we can create the future from our memories, right? And when people do that, it's normally the bad. Oh, but this happened to me. This happened to me. And apart from the fact that stops you doing anything different, you're just recreating the past. You're just recreating this cycle that I'm a powerless little person in a prison planet, and they control me, and that becomes your reality. Because I've never met anyone who is saying, oh my God, I'm a slave, the money system, the government, they're all so bad, but yet have a wonderful life and are always happy. Has anyone ever seen that? It's funny that. And that to me is proof that we create our reality. And you have other people that, they believe everything, yes, I'm powerful. Everything's great. I can do it. And they go out and they create the world they want. You talk to those people, they will not tell you that they're controlled and it's a prison planet, because the two, that they can't exist in the same space, right? You're either, whatever you're creating. It basically is what it comes down to.
Yeah, I saw a message from Silver Sage. You're making a new business with new vision. Happy to talk to you about it. Let us know. We're all into promoting and helping people become part of this new system, making a new system, a new reality, that sort of thing. And someone also asked what an archon is. I mean, look around in the world. All the cement, all the crazy buildings, all those apartment buildings everywhere. Look at Hong Kong. Saying you don't know what an archon is, you can see the effects. Let's say they're invisible. Let's say they're from the fifth dimension, and you can't. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff. We see 8% of light, 10% of light, something like that. So there's obviously 90% that we don't see anyways. Right? Get a microscope and look down there. You'll see, oh my goodness, look at all the bugs crawling on me. I didn't know that was there. Or all of the perceived light. Supposedly, you don't see X-rays, you don't see blue light, you don't see red light, you don't see any of these things. So there's a lot that could be hiding literally in plain sight. You saw that movie Obey, where the guy put the glasses on and saw the monsters.
Yeah.
Probably see that Roddy Piper movie, right? Yep. So I would say you look at the effect, not at what they are, but the effect, and you can see through that reflection what's going on. Like you can see through the monetary system, you can see through the political system, you can see through the horrible ways cities are set up, you can see through the unfairness of Australian police, of Canadian police, of the British monarchy, of the monetary system. It's really easy to see the effects of the archon if you want to know what they are. So you can see what they're doing. So by seeing what they're doing, you can see how you're either, Cambell said that aiding that by fighting it and saying, my life sucks because of this, that, the other thing. There's nothing I can do. You're helping them, right? You're telling the world that what they say is real, and you're making it more real by saying it's real, and you don't have to say it's real, you just have to act on the fact it's real. Nothing I can do. I have a mortgage. I'm 92, and so I can't do anything anymore. I'm married with 72 children, so I'm stuck, in this job because I need to pay for their granola because we're all vegetarians here and meat is bad, and whatever it is. I would say none of that is as important as seeing how you can be free, and how you're not free is how you've let the archons in. So that could be a very easy definition. Wherever you see you're not free, whether it's health, wealth, spiritual, life, monetary, geographical, whatever it is for you, maybe that's where you've let the archons in. Because I would say we're all born free beings, or we come from a place where we're free beings, and that is probably everyone's desire. That's why we have our course, Cambell, Freedom's Calling You. Check that out as well. We'll leave the links below, because it's all about seeing where you're not free so that you can become free.
Yeah. So that's, that really is the main thing, is what we believe is true for us. And a lot of people try and pass their reality onto other people. Why are you doing? Can't you see how bad it is? Oh my God, look at this. Oh my God, it's not even worth it. Well, great. That's your experience. Then you can create that. That is your choice. If you want to live there, you can live there. That's great. But it's a bit rude to go out and try and steal other people's dreams. And it's like, well, you can't have a dream because there's all these nefarious, nasty people. It's the good and the bad. Again, we can't fix a problem unless we know it's there. Rowdy Piper didn't put on the glasses and see all these obey signs and fall to his knees and start crying, going, "Oh my God, look what they're doing!" No, he picked up a bat and went and hunted them down and blew up their transmission. Right? He did something about it, and he changed reality. I don't think he made it through the end of the film, so it's maybe not the best example. But this is the thing. We always get to choose, but unless we know that there's a problem, we can't fix it. And, I think a lot of people think that life should just be this perfect, easy thing, but why is it so hard? Why don't I just have $1 million? Why can't I just have the Porsche and the beautiful girls and all this kind of stuff? Well, the reason is because you wouldn't know what that is. You wouldn't appreciate it unless you've built something and you go through the bad times. How do you know what the good time is? If you've got a problem, fix it, work on it. Don't sit there. It's like, if your car breaks down, you don't just sit there going, "Oh my God, my car's broken. Poor little me. Oh my God, what am I going to do? The world's against me." Most people just call a mechanic and get it fixed because they now know there's a problem. Why don't we look at life the same way? It's this weird juxtaposition, isn't it? Like we look at this outside world as, oh my God, it's affecting me so much, but we can change it. But then we look at our inside world as something that we're trapped in. But the outside world, the physical world, which is the overlay, it's like, oh, well, there's a problem. I can fix it. Well, it's the same with you. It's the same with your thoughts. If there's something bad, you can change it. You don't have to sit down and cry and think, oh, woe is me. This is so bad. You always have a choice.
Something Cambell just mentioned really came to me, because I sat there for many years going, where's all the money? Where's all the abundance? Where's my Porsche? Where's all the ladies chasing me? Where's all the beauty? I wish I inherited, $10 million from my parents as well. I've heard about it. But I had to know, I know myself. I'm a lazy, selfish, strange, me first kind of man. That's how I was raised, right? First son of a family with no sons. So if I was given all that 10, 20, 30 years ago, I'd be maybe dead, maybe fat, maybe 300 ungrateful children. All of these things would be sitting with me. So I had to say, like, why don't I have $1 million? Why wasn't it easy? Why was my life a challenge? Why have I had, the lack that I don't really want anymore? Because then I had to dig deep. As Cambell said, I had to see where my resources were, my inner resources. Not waiting for anyone to give it to me. And I had to figure out how I could use my intuition, my imagination, my discipline, and my power to change that. I was forced to do it all for myself. And I didn't sit and complain, although I used to. So that's the beauty of this. If it's so horrible, if your life is like the worst possible, and some people have said that, well, I'm very happy for you. Because I think that will give you the opportunity to find some hidden resources.
Yeah. It really comes back to this theme that, is it for you or is it against you? What you focus on, you create. So what do you want to create? Are you falling for the trap? Because again, back to history, we can see now that it's a lie, and we can go, okay, they're scamming us. But what are we doing with that? Are we just watching videos all day, or are we actually taking that on and going, okay, I can see they're doing this and this, so to fix my life and make it better, here's a solution. I can go and do something different. The monetary system, oh my God, it's just all debt. It's a slavery system. Yes, it is. And we do have to interact with it, but we don't have to have a job. We can choose a different thing. We can start a business. We can get off grid. We can do what, we have choice. Okay. And believing this is the main thing, right? These archons, controllers, whatever, they want you to think you have no choice. And guess what? If you believe that's true, it is true. All right. So again, if we're focusing on they rule us, we're these poor little prisoners, then we create that, and that's what we experience. So why would you do that? All these are all lessons showing us this is not what you want. And unfortunately, most people, instead of going, oh, it's not what I want, how do I change it? They go, it's not what I want. Poor little me. I better sit down and focus on how hard done by I am. And they are helping create the problem.
Look for magic, I would suggest. And by magic, I mean anything out of the ordinary. Look for opportunities that come. I think we're all born with the ability to do anything and everything. And if you want to believe, as someone said, God helps those who help themselves. And I agree with that. If everyone wants to look at God as a certain way, could be spirit, could be whatever you want to say, the all of everything, I like to say, it loves you, or he loves you, she loves you, it doesn't matter, it's probably everything. And so you're probably always being given an opportunity to become better, to become strong, to become loving, to have an amazing life. But usually it's like if you've got a wound, you have to look at it first, right? If something is like if you want to see the sun coming up and your window is dirty, and people keep walking up to their window and going, I can't see the sun, there's no sun. You got to clean your window, right? You got to clean whatever is keeping you from seeing the light, from seeing the sun. Whether it's your beliefs, as Cambell has said, or your ideas, or your notions, or your past, or your thought process. I think that's the Archons. They just dirty up our window with news, with bad ideas, with nothing you can do. And people go, I want the light. I'm staying in your room and being love and light is not good enough. You got to clean that window. You got to let spirit's light in, if you like. Look for the magic. Look for something that's outside of the potential for what you thought was possible. Every day I see something wonderful that I didn't expect to see there. And if you find that, examine it, sit with it, potentially use it to increase your imagination. Like, Cambell and I've done a few videos on what was so amazing about the people living in Tartaria. Too many people focus, look at those buildings, oh my goodness, the electricity, oh my goodness, the cars, oh my goodness, the free energy machines. But who were those people? How were those people? How can you become like those people so that you can also make that kind of life? Not like, oh my goodness, it's been taken from us, it's all buried in mud, and those horrible resetters, those nasty government people that have been hiding all of the truth from us. Sure, probably they have. Doesn't matter though. What are you going to do with that? That's the question, to get away from letting the Archons in, by not allowing yourself to be trapped in limited potential that's been given to you, so you can take something that's not given to you and make it from whole cloth, if you like.
And with Tartaria, it's a good question. Why did it fall? Well, maybe, if everyone had whatever they wanted, they had these amazing buildings, they had free energy, they had, no war, all this stuff. What do you think they were doing? Did they end up a civilization that were just sitting around doing nothing because they had everything they wanted? They had no challenges. And so the universe is like, oh God, these people aren't doing anything anymore. They're just sitting around wasting away. Better wake them up. Boom, right? Smash it all away. And then it shows us, these traces of the past, and we can look at it and go, oh, we want something better. We can see where we are and it's not good, so we want something better, so let's go and change it, right? It's that other thing, when you have everything you want, the good people, it produces bad humans, right? Because they don't have any challenges. They don't have any need to change and to make things better. They're just like, oh, look at this, everything's great, so I'm going to sit down and watch Netflix. You know, what's the use of being alive if that's your life? You know, challenges are where it's at, and they are challenges, guys. They're not problems. I remember I was doing a course when I was like 15 or something, and the guy got up and he said, you know, problem's a really stupid word. Just say it over and over. Problem, 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 problem. And he's right. It's a dumb word. You know, if it's a problem, how do you get around it? If it's a challenge, that it just in that word is the answer. You've got to do something. You've got to change. You know, and that's what we're here to do. We are creators. So I think that all this bad is just to show us that that's what we don't want. All right. And again, it comes down to choice. Are you going to change that, or are you going to be a victim to that? It's your choice.
Yes. So October 6th, 7th, and 8th, maybe we're coming to an end of our conversation.
Yeah, I can't believe we've been going for 50 minutes. That went so fast.
Cambell and I, we're going to be in Florida, Port St. Lucie, Florida. Come join us if you can. We're going to have a sub-event maybe 4, 5, 6 days later. We'll see if that's coming up. We'll announce it. If you can't make it, Freedom's calling you. You know, you can take our course online right now. And we'd be delighted to see you. We'd be delighted to share this in person. There's lots I haven't shared publicly that I'm ready to share face-to-face if people come and see me. Tons and tons of secrets, ways I've developed my own discipline, ways I've gotten my own power. You know, some of the more horrible, wonderful, beautiful things that you just can't share on YouTube or this way. It's not even worth it. It has to be face-to-face. You know, this is still an artificial means of us connecting. It's great. Don't get me wrong. This is how I'm getting to know Cambell. This is how I'm getting to know you. But nothing can replace the face-to-face of what's possible when you get face-to-face and you do that. I mean, I'm going to get to meet Cambell for the first time. I'm really looking forward to it. I can almost expect something I can't imagine to happen when good people put their energy together. You know, Cambell and I are taking a shot to even travel. I'm in Japan. He's in Australia. We're going halfway across this realm, you know, with no promises, just because we feel it's a good idea. And we'd love to see you there as you can make it. And, you know, all I can say is I love you all very much, and I appreciate everyone's comments and participation here. It's been fun.
Yeah. We love you all. Just a comment on this. The idea, you know, when people have an idyllic lifestyle, they're going to stuff it up. That's true for people who are given stuff. We've all seen these trust fund babies, right? And to a lot of people, they have everything. But what happens to their life? They destroy it. Why? Because they didn't work for it. They didn't create it. They didn't put the effort in. They didn't become who they need to become to live that life. It was just given to them, right? And that's why they stuff it up, because it's not theirs. Okay, so we're not saying you can't have an amazing idyllic life. That's you know, the goal here, to build that life. But unless you build it, it's not yours. Unless you become the person you need to be to live in that life, you don't deserve it. So that's what all this is. It's just growing, learning, and getting better every day. And we can only do that if we're the power, if we understand that we're the choice and we're the creators. We can't do that if we're a victim. It's that simple.
You know, if we come from paradise, and I think we all do, you don't come from paradise to live in more paradise. You would have stayed in paradise. Well, maybe you came into this life, you chose to be born to face a challenge. It's a challenging time for all of us. No doubt. Everything is a challenge. Getting up, finding good food, breathing, staying happy and healthy. Everyone's got a challenge, right? So maybe we came here to face those challenges, to do something with them, so that we can show people how to get over it. Whatever it is you came, whatever it is, everyone's born with some challenge. I don't doubt that. Everyone's got something that maybe they've come here to make better. And, you know, at the end of your days, and they're coming for all of us, probably be very happy when you face that and you succeed in however you say for yourself you need to succeed.
Yeah. I mean, you can't be satisfied if someone just gives you everything. I want $1 million, and then someone knocks on the door and says, here's $1 million. Well, what are you going to do now? Like, seriously, what would you do? Squander it, get on drugs, end up, you know, like, this is the thing, you know. And I'm the same. If I was given $1 million at 18, I'd be dead. Like, seriously, I was nowhere near, you know, the level that I would need to be able to use that money productively. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm going to the pub tonight. You know, I'm going to show all the girls how much money I've got. Oh, there's some good drugs, and I'd be dead, right? But as we go through this, we become the people who we need to be to deserve what we want.
Exactly. So I hear you, Silver Sage. Maybe it's not always true, but when I was in my 20s, I had lots of money and I almost killed myself more times than I can count. So maybe for you, it's to have lots of money and to be good with it. There's no one right answer for anyone. Maybe you're
Mm,
the kind of person, I don't know whether you're a man or woman, Silver Sage, maybe you're the kind of person that had a lot and can stay true to themselves. I'm sure there are people like that out there. So why not? It
mm.
really depends. Everyone has a purpose. Maybe that's your purpose.
It's not a physical thing. It's not this, that money is good, or, this is another, we've got to focus on where the energy, right? Sure. Some people are brought up well and they're given all this wealth, and through their childhood, they become the people, through their education from their parents, that they need to be to do something good with that. Definitely. But a lot of families, the royals, hey, let's look at them, have all the money, have all the power, but that's not what happens, right? Because they're not taught to become, they don't have, they're not taught the lessons that they need to become the person that can do something good with that. So, with money, you can change the world. You can feed starving people. You can build schools, or you can take a lot of drugs and kill yourself. The money's not the point. It's who you are. That's the differential point. It's not the material world. It's not the outside world. It's you. You can give two people the same stuff and you will get two different results. So we need to focus on the fact that it's us. We're the center of all this. We're the point. What's the point of it all? You're the point.
Yeah. So wherever you think you can't change, maybe that's where you've let the Archons in. This is called Don't Let the Archons In. I think wherever you find you have a negative that you want to make positive, or something you don't like that you want to make better, something horrible that you want to change, perhaps that's where you've let the Archons in, because I would say that's a good starting point for any of us. If your health sucks, get healthier. Relationship sucks, make better relationships. If your job sucks, find another job. I saw the guy from Hawaii said he was honest in his job interview, so he didn't get the job. Great, maybe that job wasn't for you, right? Or maybe it's time to do something else. Maybe you have to be a little tricky to get a job. Everyone's been tricky just to get a job in their life, and that's said everything honestly. Really doesn't matter. So your Archons have maybe come in wherever you're not happy, so that you can find a way towards a better life as you would like to see it. No one else.
Yeah. It's all for you, guys. It's all for you, and you can take it any way you want. It can be a lesson, or it can be a cage. But in the end, and with these negative thoughts, which are the Archons, I literally just tell them to bugger off. Not interested. No, that's not true. And that won't work the first time you say it. But you do that for a year and you'll suddenly realize, oh, what happened to those thoughts? Where are they? They're gone because you made a choice that's not you, right? It's all a trick. This is who you are. This is who you are. This is who you are. And if you believe it, well, guess what? That's who you are. If you go, no, bugger off, I'm not, and you make, you actually do things to prove that that's not true, you get out and take action, well, then you're not. You're so much more. And that's the point of it all, guys. It's all lessons. It's all taps on the shoulders going, I don't think you like this. What are you going to do? Are you going to change it, or are you going to sit down and cry? And this is a choice we have.
For sure.
So there
I would
we go.
agree.
I think we're at the end there. So thank you all for joining us. 208 of you. We love you all. Please, thank you for giving us a like, a subscribe, hit the notification button, all that kind of stuff. Go check out Lorenzo's channel at the New Now. He's got hundreds of really cool videos. And of course, don't forget, there's links below. If you like this discussion and you think there's more in it for you, then check out our course, or if you can, come and join us in Florida.
Yeah, I saw a fellow that wants to carpool from Michigan. So anybody in his neck of the woods or her neck of the woods, see if you want to hit them. Send me emails if someone wants to get to our event and can't, or someone needs some help or something. New now at uagora.ca. It's where we're taking registrations. It's where I'll take some questions as well. So if anybody has any way we can help them or wants to connect with anyone else to help them one way or the other, don't be shy. I'm happy to help if I can.
Indeed. So thanks again, guys. We love you all. Stay awesome. Get that awe back inside you. Awe, right? Wonderment, right? When you can see the world as wonderful, then it's awesome. It's full of
Port
awe.
St. Lucie, Florida, Silver Sage. That is where the event is. Port St. Lucie, Florida. Go to newagora.ca. It's the website that I've been running for 15 years with a lot of people. All the information is there. All of Cambell's videos there. I just put up 4 of his videos this morning. put up new articles, new information every day, pretty much, in fact, exactly every day. So all the details, we have an event page that's on that page, so you can see all the details there. And as Campbell said, all the links will be below.
Indeed. The point of change is you, if you want it. So thanks for joining us. Have an amazing day, and we'll see you all on the next upload. Bye for now.
Stepping it up, taking a chance, risking it all, we're going crazy, stepping it up.